right. Very much so. Maxing and relaxing, doing content creation. Like, it's actually boring stuff to do, but I thought it'd be a lot of fun, a lot more fun, I should say, to do live. Where'd it go? So all I'm doing right now is editing the last scrap. And so I'm pulling up Ryan Selleck's scrap. I'm going to make clips out of it. That's what I'm doing right now today. It's, like I said, pretty exciting stuff, but more fun to do together. If you have anything to ask, the fun side of the show, yeah, no doubt about it, McGinn. This is the fun side of the show. But if you have questions, ask me, because that's why I went live, was just to have a conversation while working. Open it up, open it up, open it up. There's Selleck. Do I have the video? I might have to download the video. Oh, I have the audio right now. See, that's why this is fun. Pretty sure I have the video because I recorded it properly, which is a problem I've had. $11:22, 5:2. 6-1, 6-3. 6-3 would be him and me. Alright. Go away. Got the right one. There we go. Ryan looks sexy here. Getting framed up pretty good. I like it. Maybe a little zoom out there. Maybe too much. I don't want the floating head, but I don't want it too small. And check multiple places. How much does he move around on me? Definitely want to fix that. Like I said, this is the fun side of editing. Now we just got to find the sound clips. Always fun. How do you find time to do all you do? Do you have a timer set and put a certain amount of time aside for each project? That stash doesn't need any help. Looking good, Corley. No, that stash does not need help. I think it has to do with my broken brain and the fact that I just do stuff. I don't, if that makes sense. I get that question a lot, but it really is my broken brain. Now I just got to find the sound clips. This is the actual hardest part of the whole thing, is to find the actual sound clip that turns into,
I think the American Fire Service
turns into a good clip. So part of it is I have to remember what we were talking about at the time, and then I have to go listen to it all again.
I think the American Fire Service has call it the right or the wrong ingredients to be the most complacent profession that deals with emergency type of events. And I don't say that as a, throwing stones to the fire service. I believe it's the structure that we currently have and that we're working in. And that's putting us up against pilots, military, law enforcement, hospitals, electricians, people doing, critical work. And, I'll start off with just a good example of, you think about, for the majority of suburban and rural, not so much urban, but what are the skill capacities that we have to have in the suburban and rural environment? And I thought through that, and I came up with about 7 fireground functions, and that's not even doubling up, attack and back up. But if, we got RIT and we got vent and we got.
This is where having the sound bites really helps. But the problem is I had so much fun talking to Ryan. I really didn't on my notepad, which you probably can't see because my window's so tiny. But I didn't write down a ton of good sound bites. That's why I'm trying to get it to where the vigilantes can have the. I remember we were going to talk about it in the after party. Like everybody tells me a sound bite that they loved in the time frame, because then I can go find it quickly. Because this is the most time consuming part, is looking through and trying to find that good clip. But what I did have written down was 0831, searching in the bay. So it was about 30 minutes into the show. He talked about, now I just got to find the start of the show.
Seconds.
Cake. Turn my phone to silent.
Last week I was sending Corley
Super big and big font on the thing, and I was like,
every 30 seconds I made it bigger. Kenwick.
By the way, I got to tell you, Lilac.
beautiful.
All right, we are at a minute 40.
Just trying to keep in condition yellow here.
5, 4, 3,
Start.
2.
Only more. There's the start of the show. Okay. So now we found the start of the show. Now I can drag it back. And now I can go look at the 31-minute mark, which there's 1 hour. There's the 1. So 1:31 is where I had my soundbite, in theory. We'll see if this theory actually works. Gotta get rid of these old clips. Alright, so 31 is around right here.
Question. Really good question. Good question, Chief. No softballs. So
I gotta read chat for a second. Could get us to start clipping it, man. And that's that. The thing is, I gotta have it in here. So the time stamp is really the important part. That if I can just go back and find it in there. Not sure if it's just my phone, but I can't see times when I'm watching live. No, mostly it's the clock. We're pretty good at starting at 8 o'clock. So if the timestamp is 8:31, well, depending on your time zone, of course, Eddie. But if the timestamp, if you say 8:31, like this one I'm currently looking at, I know that was 31 minutes into the podcast, because we were pretty good at starting right at 8 or thereabouts. Depending on the length of the intro video and stuff like that. So when I say time, yeah, it doesn't have to be the exact. I mean, don't get me wrong, the exact time would be beautiful, because right now I'm looking around the 8:31 mark, because that's when it came in on the show. But probably because the video ran, and we probably didn't actually start till like 8:03, so that actually means it's probably around 8:34 technically. But I'm gonna start listening here. Maybe.
I think that's challenging. I think that we have to make them aware of it, and we have to, as individuals, make sure that we understand the things that we're talking about, like where your heart rate is. We understand some things, like there should be some things that we try to build in recruits that's like
fast forwarding, and
either dive further into my slide tray or just time out. Hey, Cap, I'm seeing something doesn't make sense. What's going on here? So I think really identified, unilateral flow path on the three, like there's a mismatch here. And so creating some of those things where they identify like, hey, there's a mismatch. I need to step back.
Sorry,
I think
high,
that
they dropped down.
What's that?
No, I was making a baseball analogy. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that's challenging. I think that we have to make them aware of it, and we have to, as individuals,
I think there's potential.
and this is on combat, by the way, this book. Sorry, I can't just show it since I know a lot of people listen to it. Yeah, so he talks in that book about training scars, and training scars is huge. I think most people are aware of the concept, but the example he uses, FBI agents who were in gunfights who had brass in, and so when they went to their lizard brain, they basically went. And so I think making them aware of training scars, there's a lot of them. We do half bail nozzle work. That's a big one I see on the training ground, that you're the only one who knows if you're half bailing it. And so if you do that repetitively on the training ground, inevitably when a fire happens, you're going to create that training scar. So I think just making them aware, and also making them aware, like they may not have the answer always, but if they can identify when something doesn't fit the pattern and they need to step back and reevaluate or get somebody else who knows what's going on. I think that's really critical.
No, that's solid. Solid. Don't think that was it.
Thank you for the great question, Jeff.
I think it was Jeff.
That's one of my guys.
Okay,
a
good.
Marine guy.
was it a
He's an
different
absolute
guy?
stud. So we haven't. You ready to jump into some Cooper's Colors?
Let's talk.
So Cooper's Colors, originally by Colonel Cooper. By the way, everybody who did anything good in the military is a colonel. So it's really Grossman's colors now, but in tribute, I think. So to go through these, basically we start in a white, and white is very aware of our surroundings and what's going on. So you're in kind of a blissful state.
Right.
It's that sleep where there's a noise or there's something and we're up and we're ready to go. So, and I actually turned my heart rate monitor on to see where I was at during the scrap, because when I sat down to get on here, I was like just a skosh below red. So we're under that now. We're down at 98. And
Gotcha.
keep in mind, these numbers
Don't be afraid to ask
are
questions. I'll
not
interact.
hard and fast. So if your resting heart rate is 40 or your resting heart rate is 80, it's going to impact these. And the worse your fitness is, the higher your base heart rate is.
Well,
If your resting heart rate is 40 or your resting heart rate is 80, it's going to impact these. And
Let me see what he starts there. Let's see. This might be a good clip.
keep in mind, these numbers are not hard and fast. So if your resting heart rate is 40 or your resting heart rate is 80, it's going to impact these. And the worse your fitness is, the higher your base heart rate is. That's going to impact how fast you go through these colors too. And I'll also say that Grossman's work is really on hormonal induced heart rates. So heart rates that are focused on stress experiences. So again, going back to you arrive on a pediatric drowning or a fire and mom says baby's in there. So hormonal induced tachycardias, and it doesn't translate exactly across in just exercise induced tachycardia. So I do want to say that. And I don't know, I haven't seen any work that really compares like what happens when you are in both and you're already driven your heart rate up because you're working and you're searching or whatever, and then you're really transitioning into tachycardia via your sympathetic response. So I don't know. I haven't seen work on that, but
Right.
And how do
to kind of go back.
How do you even manufacture that?
I know. I don't. It's odd to think about that they would be different, but they kind of are. So it's another hole in this that I don't fully understand, and I don't know where to find the answers to. So
I think it's enough to say that don't get me wrong, getting on an assault bike and getting your heart rate up and then making decisions is great, but it's not the same as being thrown into that.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely, yeah, they're not the same.
Moving through Cooper's
yellow.
Colors.
We're on yellow still. So really you're in yellow up to that one, start transitioning closer to that as our heart rate goes up. And the heart rate is just kind of how they've, I guess, tied that together. And so anyway, yellow is a really good place. So some fighter pilots have been said that they will put a yellow dot on their instrument panel to remind them to stay in condition yellow, because condition yellow is really like, it's that optimal place where our heart rate is up. So we're perfusing our brain well. We're in our neocortex. We have all of the skills inside our brain are all readily available, and we're not starting to see any degradation in anything. And so yellow is where like incident commander should be. If you're forcing doors, stretching lines, searching buildings, you're probably not going to be in condition yellow for very long. Now, I think as you again create some competency and exposure, then you can kind of go take these colors maybe further. And that's kind of what Grossman found in the fourth color he added. All right, so red, as we continue to go up, we transition to red, which is vaguely 115 to 145 range, like incident commander should be. If you're forcing doors, stretching lines, searching buildings, you're probably not going to be in condition yellow for very long. Now,
see, it's not bad if he said you're probably not going to be in it for very long, and it ended, but he doesn't. He's kind of continuing, so it makes for a bad sound clip. It doesn't sound like it resolves.
like incident commander should be. If you're forcing doors, stretching lines, searching buildings, you're probably not going to be in condition yellow for very long.
I'm going to try it, see how it works. Let's copy. Boom, boom. Come back here to the builder. I know this is exciting stuff, and if you have questions, please ask. I don't know if anybody's still actually watching. I just figured it was a lot more fun to create content together rather than by myself. So put the clip I just took, we're gonna stick it here. We're gonna move, now we're gonna zoom in. We're gonna move the overlay. And let's see, we got some music going. What music we got going with this one?
To remind them to stay in condition yellow, because condition yellow is really like, it's that optimal place where our heart rate is up.
His soundbite's a little.
To remind them to stay in condition yellow, because condition yellow is really like, it's the dot on their instrument panel to remind them to stay in condition yellow, because condition yellow is really like, it's that optimal place where our heart rate is up, so we're perfusing our brain well, we're in our neocortex, we have.
Not bad, okay. So I like the music with it. Pull the music up so it starts better. And now we see the resolution at the end.
Forcing doors, stretching lines, searching buildings, you're probably not going to be in condition yellow for very long.
Too quick. Bouncing it back a little bit.
If you're forcing doors, stretching lines, searching buildings, you're probably not going to be in condition yellow for very long.
It's not bad, but again, it doesn't resolve well, so I won't use it. If it resolved good,
Probably not going to be in condition yellow for very long.
yeah, again, that's actually a cool idea, but the problem is I'd have to play Beethoven, first of all, which is not bad. I don't mind Beethoven. Especially, right now I'm playing some lo-fi chill music. I don't even know if you guys can hear the music that I got going. But, yeah, the copyright strikes. You get copyright strikes on your channel, and when that happens, they absolutely, it adds up over time. Like 1 or 2, 3, 4, that's not bad. And it really doesn't hurt since I don't monetize most of my stuff on YouTube anyway. I got tired of ads showing up. But it really doesn't hurt you that bad to get the strikes, but they add up over time. And so when you do mess up, the strikes, they look at how many strikes you have, and you can lose stuff on you. So it's better just to not mess with copywritten material and just keep your channel as clean as possible. I don't even know, like, they may copyright strike me for the lo-fi chill I got playing in the background right now, but I can't stand to just sit in silence. There's got to be something going on, and it's so hard to find copyright free music. So this is just a nice little creative chill. Anyway, that was a clip that I almost wanted to use, but it's not good enough, so I'm deleting it and looking onward and forward as I look for another clip.
Now, I think as you, again, create some competency and exposure, then you can kind of go take these colors maybe further. And that's kind of what Grossman found in the fourth color he added. All right, so red, as we continue to, I don't want to say this, it's the optimal, like, we're a fight. I know we don't fight, but that's the optimal, like, fight physiological response, right? We're ready to physically do work, and our brain is still checked in. So for us who are searching and stretching and venting and all the things, red is a really good place to be. And so we start to experience, as that heart rate goes to the higher end of red, we start to again we start losing some fine motor control. Right. We start not being able to use all of our neocortex the best that it can be used. And so we start seeing this degradation. Now, one of the things that Grossman found is,
I'm gonna try and find that clip because I feel like I might have passed it. I thought it was a good bite, a good sound bite. I'm gonna try and go before 131 and go around 28. But you can't conflate, like you said. It's such a beautiful, beautiful analogy, man. Absolutely love it. All right.
Well, we'll talk Fields, because he's one of the people who is out talking about this stuff, and that's a good question. So that's something I've wrestled with a little bit myself. So I spent 3 years in the training division, and kind of my story is the reason that I have really kind of found myself back deep in this material is when I went into the training division, even though I had learned what I learned in law enforcement, I started to immediately go back to what I knew and teaching the way that I was taught. And so once I was like, wait a minute, that's not, I know we can do some things better, but it's kind of a rabbit hole of where to go. And I took Rick George's class on resiliency years ago, and we talked a little bit about this content because it kind of crosses over into resilience. In fact, what we're talking about, resiliency and also mental health, because of how the brain processes stress, are like this, and which is super interesting. But what Rick George says is he's like, I've been chasing rabbit holes to no end for a long time and no end in sight. And it's so true. And so to answer the question, it's really tough because I think that we dump so much on recruits that I think it's really tough because I think that we dump so much on our recruits that I think we really have to analyze if that's more. But I honestly I've taught it at a very superficial level to recruits, and I usually teach it. Now my involvement with recruits is mostly in search. And so I teach it during search, and Corley alluded to earlier the article. And so in that article, I talk about we should really have search gears. And so for me, when you're in searching a room, it's fast, it's aggressive. We should really have search gears. And so for me, when you're in searching a room, it's fast, it's aggressive. You're not box breathing, which we'll talk about. You're going to work. When you come out, you need to slow down, bring that heart rate down, hopefully make sure your neocortex is online, which we'll talk about Cooper's Colors.
What you got?
Training up the most important probie.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure until he comes on and talks about it.
Gotcha. Training up the most important probie. That's just something he put in there.
Yeah, I'm sure he's talking.
I ran around his meeting, and I was worried to post it before I found out.
No. I'm sure he's talking about my guess is he's going to talk about raising up his kids. That's the most important. That's the most important probie you can raise up.
Okay. All right. That's context. Thank you.
No, absolutely. You're live, by the way. We're live talking about it.
Sweet.
Yeah, Sam's saying hi.
All right, brother. I'll leave you alone.
No, you're good. I'm just editing. I went live and edited,
Gotcha.
so I'm just chilling, answering questions. There's like 2 people dropping in and out, but it's fine. I'm looking for a gray reel from Ryan's episode. It's really exciting.
Well, that explains why you're not answering your text.
Gotcha. I didn't see it, brother.
It's okay.
All right.
Later.
All right. I was ignoring. Yeah, McGinn said, "What's up?" I should have told him. Sorry, there's a delay, so I didn't see it. Andrew.
Make sure your neocortex is online, which we'll talk about Cooper's Colors. And so I think it's important for them to at least understand that as they get working and they get that heart rate up, that they are going to diminish their cognitive ability and their fine motor skills, as well as a few other things. So I think it's important at a superficial level, if that answers the question. So, and there's no right answer for that. I mean, different, I feel like our recruits, I mean, it's 16 weeks and we teach them so much. I'd love to give them a day on it. It'd be beautiful, but there's only so much time.
There's only so much time. There's only
why we have the problem we have with
at the end of the day. Yeah. No.
And that's still, it's like that's a phenomenal little run he went on.
Okay, wisdom and experience are earned. What helps them? What's that?
No, I was making it based.
Oh, all right. I'm trying. Focusing down. To harm them. And the situations we typically go into aren't 856 was another one. Let's try for that one that I wrote down. Date our personnel with non-emergent situations.
Yeah, and we're not set up. And when I say suburbia, I mean like suburbia below, like so.
No,
speaking in size-wise, so suburban down. Like if you're a rural firefighter, even more so. Like you're a volunteer.
Staffing issues and everything. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, come in on your off day and do these 14 skill sets, and you might die because you've only had a slight exposure to all of them. I mean, it's kind of craziness when we think about it. And I just think in other industries we we don't do those things. Like, would you let a surgeon who, like, you need your appendix out and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of a neurosurgeon mostly,
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm gonna do this appendectomy for you today because I learned about it 9 years ago. And
I'm an ear, nose, and throat guy, but I'll do it. You know.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good clip. If I don't walk on him, we're gonna try this one. Here we go. Might have found it. Start with some epic music.
yeah, hey, come in on your off day and do these 14 skill sets, and you might die because you've only had a slight exposure to all of them. I mean, it's kind of craziness when we think about it. And I just think in other industries, we don't do those things. Like, would you let a surgeon who, like, you need your appendix out and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of a neurosurgeon mostly,
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm gonna do this appendectomy for you today because I learned about it 9 years ago. And
I can cut off the and. We got this. Zooming in, pulling back. Pulling back. Got the mutts don't scrap to close it out. Stretching the sound. Renaming it. It needs a good name for this clip now. We got to figure out what the name is. We're going to go with Can You Imagine? Because that's not, that's a little bit of a teaser. I can type. Can you imagine? So there we go. That's what it looks like. Here's a video preview so you can see. Right? Can you imagine? But the problem is on the video preview, as you can see, we haven't got the video, so we got to unhook it, stretch it without stretching the audio. Now we got it.
yeah, hey, come in on your off day and do these 14 skill sets, and you might die because you've only had a slight exposure to all of them. I mean, it's kind of craziness when we think about it. And I just think in other industries, we don't do those things. Like, would you let
The only thing I don't like about it right there. Sam's like, I got trapped in here. That's what happens when we share. No doubt about it. I'm going to pull it over just a little bit to make sure. He seemed a little bit to the left. There we go. So you have to stay. I'm reading it. I'll do this, Sam, so you can see. I text you. How's that sound? See if you'll check your text now. Hey, let's do this. Why don't you leave? Well, you can't hear me. Hold on. I'll call you instead.
What's up?
Hey, brother.
So, I went to post the scrap, and I did it, and then instead of taking me to the screen where I can grab the link,
Right?
it dumps me right into your live stream, and now I'm stuck here.
I was gonna say let's do this. Just leave.
Okay, I am gonna try. That's what I wanted to do. Is I wanted to make sure that you're aware of that before I tried to leave, because it may shut you off.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying, and I'll tell you. I mean, there's 3 people right now. Andrew's been one asking most of the questions. Josh just came in. I'm gonna talk to him, but give it a minute so I can answer Josh's question, and
Okay.
and then yeah, do a countdown and then leave, and we'll see if it actually kills the stream. We'll find out.
Roger that.
Then we'll know for the future at least.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I finished making a gray reel, so I actually concluded. I just have to render it now. Looks pretty good.
got you.
Turned out pretty good. So it's actually like if it does crash, it's no big deal. I got something done. All right. Yeah, give it 30 seconds and you can kill it.
Yep.
All right.
All right, man.
Josh and Tiff Richmond have ever tried to get any more Dallas guys on the scrap? Had Kevin Lewis awesome scrap? Man, there was a deputy chief that was just coming through town, but we didn't make a connection. At FDIC, we tried to get together. I can't remember his name. I could probably look it up, but not like I'm specifically avoiding Dallas or avoiding anyone, man. I will look at any guest suggestions and try to have good quality scrap with them. Like Kevin Lewis, man. A, phenomenal mustache. B, phenomenal person, and it was a great scrap. I agree. But no, absolutely. If you have suggestions, man, I'm all ears. There's so many phenomenal. That's the crazy part. There's so many phenomenal firefighters out there that I don't know about, they're making huge impacts in their areas, in their regions, across the country, and I don't know them. I have a pretty extensive network, and I still don't know them. Oh, sorry. So yeah, we'll find out. Let's see if Sam gives us the countdown. I told him to give us 30 seconds.
You still
Oh,
alive?
yeah, I'm still alive. I think I'm still alive.
Alright, well, if you're still alive, then I got out of it.
Sweet. Okay, we know now. It didn't kill it.
Cool.
I thought I hung up on you. I didn't know you were still in here.
No, I just let you keep talking because I figured you'd get to at some point you'd stop and mention me and then I would exit.
Right. Nice. All right.
Alright, man, talk to you later.
See ya. Like McGinn said earlier, if you get overwhelmed with making these, some of us could probably help it. No, I'm all for it. I think there's so many good clips that I miss because, well, you see how long it takes me to find this one, and I spent, how long has this been up? I mean, it's a little bit long because I'm doing it, talking to you and stuff like that. But it still probably takes me 15 to 20 minutes to find one, and get it edited. And I still haven't rendered it yet, which goes pretty quick. In fact, I'm gonna start the render now. So give me 1 second. And I'll go back to questions. Can you imagine? I like that. That's actually going to be a pretty good clip. Project, save as. No, I don't want to save it. I want to render it. Sorry, project. Render. Then we got to pull up the settings, which is real test. We got to name it properly. We got to put it in the right spot. Weekly scrap, reels, finished reels, and this one is going to be gray reel, needs captions, number 249. Can't type. Selleck, A. No Selleck, just A. 249A, that's right. I've got to remember my convention for naming things. Now it's going to render. Now go back to questions. Ever try to get any more Dallas guys? I got that one. Eddie J said, like me, yeah, I got it. Josh and Tiff Richmond. Chief Lackey, he just made BC. He was running the Roll Steady network. Very intelligent. Awesome, man. Hey, do me a favor and send me an email with the info on him. Give me his contact info. If you already know he's willing to do it, that's better. I love reaching out through people. But send me an email, firehousevigilance@gmail.com. Put in the reasons why you think he should be it. Give me the elevator spiel on why you think he should be a guest, and give me his contact info. And most importantly, let me know if he knows about the scrap, because that helps when I don't have to. When I can just say, hey, if I know they know about the scrap, then I can just say, hey, you want to come on the show? If I don't, then I have to preface it by saying, hey, I have this live internet show I do, and explain it all. So just arm me with the what do you call it? The bullets I need to be effective. That's what I'm saying. If you're willing to do that, I'm willing to look at a guest. But other than that, I promise you I will forget that name before the next hour as I continue to work and get stuff done, and I'll be like, hey, someone somewhere said something about a Dallas guy. Who was it? And it'll be gone. So yeah, if you're willing to do that, I'm willing to look at everybody. And it's the people that do. I got an email yesterday from someone, and it was lengthy and long and explained why he believed this person. And when someone puts that much effort into it, that's so much different than when someone says 2 lines in a social media, on a Facebook Messenger or Instagram on the IG chats or anything. And that's not a knock. Please don't understand. I appreciate those too, but it holds way more weight when someone gives me an essay. Okay, no problem, man. I've actually, this was fun. Don't get me wrong. If you guys enjoyed this kind of thing where I talk to you while I'd work, this multitasking makes it more interesting to me. I don't know about you guys, okay? But I'm going to try. I try to make a few of these every week. And if people enjoyed this kind of thing, I will go live and show you the stuff I work on and have conversations with you while we do it. If you enjoy it. If not, no big deal to me, because I'm still going to do it. I still may go live even if you don't enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. And plus, I'll see if it gets copyright strikes with the music and stuff, and we'll just get better at it. That's it. I'm gonna go actually be productive. Well, more productive, and get ready to fly. So, loved it. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for killer questions. It was fun. This made this a lot more enjoyable than just doing it by myself. So thanks for being here. And Sam's waiting to post episode 250. So yeah, that's it. I don't know how to wrap it up other than thanks for being here. I'll see you next time I try to do this. Peace.